Hey guys, just got an update from the National Weather Service. That storm that we were just telling you about, the storm that's moving through, let's see, Berks, Montgomery County, that showed a little bit of rotation a little bit ago. National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued a tornado warning for this storm. So here it is right now. The storm has a lot of lightning with it, but more of a concern is this threat for a tornado. In addition to the tornado, you've just got really strong winds within this cell. Let me get the latest here as we track this thing. It just came down from the National Weather Service. It's moving to the east at 30. Well. So we've got 2 tornado warnings?
Yes, we have another one now for Chester. Tornado warning for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia as well.
Okay. All right. So we're tracking 2 cells right now. That one just coming down. So here's the first one. All right. This one is the second one that Andrew just told us about. This is for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, including Philadelphia. Now, this is technically what looks to be northern Philadelphia, so North Philadelphia up toward the northeast. And then the second tornado warning, this is a little farther north. This includes Bucks and Montgomery County. Okay, so we're looking at 2 different cells, and I apologize for my head being down here, but I want to make sure that I got all this information for you as we track these cells that are all beginning to jump out ahead of the initial line. Let me put this into motion here so you see the general track. All right, so everything's moving off to the east. This is an hour loop, so we're looping this over the last hour. You can see how we've got really that merger of that initial cell where there's a ton of lightning within, and then this secondary cell just a little farther to the south where we have that secondary tornado warning here. And meteorologist Andrew Kozak is here with me. We've been watching this for really about 20 minutes, Andrew, here. And initially we were looking at it showing some rotation, and then the wind speeds within it were really concerning. And
you know, the radar site from this was a little bit further out, so we were initially thinking that this was going to be a little bit more of a wind event, and it was. But we were looking, Grant, at winds toward the radar within the storm at over 70 up to 75 miles per hour. But now there is going to be rotation on this, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued the tornado warning. With this storm, though, I would say take the tornado precautions 100% if you're in any of these counties, especially the north end of Philadelphia County now as we get closer and closer. This is a very populated area. This tornado, the newest tornado warning on the bottom end of this storm, does include 4 different counties at this point. There's a lot of intense rain, a lot of lightning, and again, just if you're joining us, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties on the north end of here. If you are in the path of this right now, and we've got the cities up here, your head being protected is the most important thing. Get to the lowest level of the building or the house that you're in. Protect your head, duck down. Obviously, you want to make sure you're away from any windows.
Don't go look for this thing, right?
Yeah,
Get away from those windows. You know, if you're in this warning area right here, which we have, I mean, like you said, a very populated area. So just a couple of cities, towns to point out to you: Norristown, Upper Dublin, and then farther to the east, you get closer to the northeast in Philadelphia. Just get to your safe place. The severe thunderstorm, or the tornado warning, excuse me, goes until 5:45. So,
and one of the things we look at too with the velocity, if we want to put that up there too, just to kind of show, that's winds going toward the radar, winds going away from the radar, and when they're up against each other, we start to see a little bit of rotation. And I think that we see sometimes where the brighter white is, the winds that are just really kicking up. And Grant, this is what we were tracking earlier, over 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, this area right here, this is where we're seeing a little bit of that rotation. So just a little bit north of Radnor. I'm going to get a little bit closer to see this. So you're looking at Norristown. Let's go even closer yet to see some of the areas. And this is right along the Blue Route, right? Right along 476, just east of King of Prussia, up towards Conshohocken there. And this system is moving to the east at around 20 miles or 25 miles per hour. So just a little track here as it continues to move to the east. You're looking at Sweetland around 526, Plymouth 530, Cold Point 533. And let's go to this other one because, again, we've got 2 tornado warnings. This is the first one right here, the one that we're looking at to the bottom of your screen. And then the second one a little farther to the north. Limerick, you're up towards, let's see, Shippack right there. And this cell also tracking to the east at around 25 miles per hour. So another track, just some other towns to point out to you there. You're looking at Hatfield around 5:48. Even though the tornado warning goes until 5:45, you're looking at this cell likely continuing east and staying strong.
And here's the other big part of this too, Grant, and I'm sure you know, for not only the fact that if you look at the time now, 5:25, we're in the heart and the thick of the evening commute.
Yeah.
But this is an area that really starts to back up. Everybody's coming in from one direction. So there's no doubt a lot of cars on the road. Don't add to that by being out. And for those people that are out there right now, we're talking about torrential rain. We're talking about winds that even outside of any of these tornadoes, potential tornadoes could be gusting 65, 70, 75 miles per hour. So it's very important right now to take warning with this, take heed, and make sure that you are inside, away from anything, because even if it doesn't spawn a tornado, remember, tornado warning means that it's radar indicated or somebody seeing it. We have not had any visuals on it, but it is indicated by radar that we could see some rotation. I still think we're going to be looking at wind damage with this, especially considering how heavy the rain is. Trees and power lines can fall very easily in this.
We were measuring and sampling some of the wind speeds within the storm, at least 70 miles per hour, if not up to close to 75 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorm warnings are issued with wind speeds that are greater than 58 miles per hour. So this is a dangerous storm.
And you were also tracking it and saying it's racing. So it's not just the wind within the storm, but the line itself is moving, what, like 50 miles per hour?
One of the individual cells initially was moving at 50 miles per hour. The initial severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for this storm, but now as they've started to merge, it looks like it's slowed down just a little bit. I'll get the latest sample here and see. Let's see, the latest sample shows this tornado threat is moving at around 30 miles per hour. So with that, let's pause it and let's put out some of the latest tracks here with this system. 30 miles per hour, we'll track it out. We'll find the center of the storm right now. We'll move it out to the east. So this is heading out towards Doylestown, and that's a little bit farther out, all right? So Doylestown, that's later into the future. Still, we'll track that storm. That's around 6:04, but you're looking at Lower Salford there around 5:38. And again, Hatfield, we mentioned you guys before, right around 5:47. So these are some rough estimates for when this particular cell could be moving through. And then there's the secondary cell a little farther to the south. And I mean, Andrew, we were looking at, this is the cell that was issued or prompting the tornado warning. But then right out ahead of it, there's this other really strong cell right there near, let's see, that's right there, Benson East. Cheltenham there. Really heavy rainfall, probably some gusty winds as well.
And we're going to be staying with you throughout this because these warnings will go until 5:45 right now.
5:45.
So we're going to stay with you with it. And also because we're live and this is TV, if you want me to drive the radar for you, if you're going to be doing any tracking, you let me know as well because I'm going to be periodically checking back and forth.
Yep, I was just looking at the National Weather Service chat here just to see if there's any new updates. We're in constant contact with the National Weather Service. They're looking at a lot of different things. We're tracking the storms as well, so it's always good to have multiple eyes on the storm to see what the updates are.
Don't forget too, with the temperatures today that were well into the 90s, the humidity creeping up, you know, this is kind of par for the course. We're in this very soupy, unstable atmosphere, and looking ahead as well, this is likely going to continue for at least the next couple of hours as we get this moving a little closer to Philadelphia and New Jersey, and then we're likely to go into reset and recharge again for tomorrow. Also, we have not mentioned southern areas, Wilmington, as we made our way toward Delaware. It doesn't mean you're out of the woods. Just because the warnings aren't this far south doesn't mean that we're not keeping an eye on this as well, because no doubt we're seeing lightning, thunder, some torrential rain on the southern end, especially as you make your way toward the airport. And by the way, ground stop right now at PHL. So Philadelphia International has a ground stop because of this. And as you're seeing there at the bottom of your screen, we now have 5 counties under those tornado warnings.
And that ground stop will likely continue for, I'd say, at least the next hour. I mean, this whole line has the potential to be severe. And I've turned off the lightning, Andrew, because it's hard to see some of our towns because there's just so much lightning. But look at all this lightning. You mentioned, even though we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning back to the west, but look at all this heavy lightning. Actually, I take that back. That whole, all Maryland into Delaware, that's all one severe thunderstorm warning. That's an incredible amount of lightning. That's moving east toward Delaware right now. So that's going to be something to watch as we go through the next hour or so. In the meantime, if you are just joining us, we are tracking 2 tornado warnings right now. National Weather Service updating both of these tornado warnings to trim in and show you where the immediate concern is. I'm going to keep this looping. I think it's important to show you the general track of this cell right now. And if you look closely, there is a little bit of a rotation right there. You can see a little bit of that pinwheeling type of feature. And I'll pause this and let's turn on the velocity. This is always a good indicator of where the rotation could be. It's not a dead ringer. It's not one of those situations where you look here and you say, that's the concern. But there is enough rotation, and I'll point it out to you here. And this is where we're looking at the potential for some rotation right there. So we're looking at that right now. It looks like we've just got a new update saying they're going to continue this tornado warning that goes until 5:45. Let's go a little bit closer here. So here we're looking at Lower Frederick, Shirks Corner, Lower Salford, and everywhere to the east of that. So right into the blue route there, a little farther east into Montgomery County, eastern, kind of central Montgomery County right there is where we've got that threat for the storm continuing to move to the east right along, I believe that is 202 as well. Well, we're looking at that cell starting to move to the east. I'll put it back on the radar so we can see the general motion of all of these cells, because there's that additional tornado warning just to the south, just north of 76 there. This is including Montgomery and Philadelphia. So no longer for Berks County, or Chester County for that matter, but also now lower Montgomery into Philly. Andrew, what you got?
The other thing I want to talk about, I know we haven't had any hail reports just yet, but hail is something that we can see with this as these storms race across the area as well. One thing I want to point out, the leading edge, you see the leading edge of these storms, you see how you go from the green, which is light rain ahead of it. Sometimes some of this isn't even reaching the ground, and we quickly go from a hard edge of green to yellow to orange to red. That means the storms, as they move into your area, they're going from basically hardly any wind to a rush of wind. Even if it's not a tornado, you're talking about going from basically nothing to 50, 60, 70 miles per hour very, very quickly, which is why it's so important to make sure you're inside. Also, and they shouldn't be outside anyway today because it was so hot, but if you have any pets that are outside, they need to be in right now as well as these storms move in. And again, Grant, when we see that hard edge like that, a lot of times we are talking about like a bow echo line or a derecho. Right. We're not seeing anything like that, but we easily could be looking at wind gusting ahead of these storms as they move in 50 to 70 miles per hour.
And those conditions are just going to deteriorate so rapidly. Yeah. It's one of those situations you're looking up and you see the dark clouds and before you know it, it's on you.
Right,
and
exactly.
It's really heavy rainfall in those damaging winds. And in addition, you've got the severe thunderstorm warning that exists kind of throughout this whole area here. So you've got the tornado warning a little farther north into Montgomery County, and then you've got the one that we've got highlighted here. This is for Montgomery and Philadelphia. Let's track this one more time here. Again, this cell moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. And we'll time it out because out ahead of it, there's that initial really strong cell worthy of probably a severe thunderstorm warning, but more concerning is the tornado threat, which is back to the west. So as it tracks to the east around 25 miles per hour, looking at Hatboro, Upper Southampton, Bensalem, Middletown, there you see the lineup and the timing for your specific area. So check that out, and I'll drop that, and let's put this into motion again, because you've got this really heavy cell here, and that's producing the really heavy rainfall right there in Abington. And then you've got a little rotation back to the west, and that's the area of concern for that potential tornado. Farther to the north, the secondary tornado warning. Again, we've got 2 tornado warnings in effect. Franconia, you're right there in it. And again, if you look closely, and I'll draw it on here so you can see what I'm looking at. And that is, you've got a little bit of what would be the inflow there coming in on the backside. You've got the rotation coming into the north of it. So if you start thinking about how the structure of this thunderstorm is developing, you usually have strong winds that wrap around on the backside. And that downdraft on the backside, Limerick area, could see some damaging winds within that as well.
I just want to give some people an update on some of the hail. We've had 3/4 inch hail so far with this. So it needs to be about 1 inch in diameter for it to be severe. But while you have this storm, this cell up right now, Pottstown, we now have a report of a 68 mile per hour wind gust reported right in Pottstown. Looks like there is reports of thunderstorm wind damage right now in this area as well with that cell that just came through. So again, tornado warning with this, but we are also looking at wind damage with this. And that's not surprising, Grant, and we're likely likely to
Right.
see more of that. Even if some of these storms don't produce an actual tornado, the winds with them are so intense that we're likely going to see trees and power lines down and things like that. I'll check on any outages coming up. It's a little too early since it's very fresh, but we are looking at now thunderstorm wind damage confirmed in the area of Pottstown.
And I would be surprised if there was not power outages.
Right,
with how
right.
strong these winds are. So hopefully if you're ahead of these storms, you have an opportunity to charge your devices. Make sure you're starting to put into motion your severe weather plan. So you've got your devices charged up. You know what to do if the power goes out. But more importantly, just get away from the windows.
Yeah.
Get the kids in. It's been a hot day, maybe playing outside in the pool or a sprinkler or something like that. Bring them on in and just say, hey, look, we got some bad weather coming. We got to stay safe.
And if you are in the path of this storm, especially as Grant, kind of tracked it right down to these areas, make sure that you are in the center of your house, away from any windows. If you have an interior bathroom or a place that it doesn't have any outdoor windows, that would be good. And always make sure to protect your head. Have a plan. And it's funny because we talk about this all the time, but the severe weather that we've had and the tornado threats that we have over the last couple of years have increased. So it's not like we live in Tornado Alley, but we certainly live in an area now that it used to be a little bit more rare than this, and now we're seeing this more often. So take this very seriously, because these storms are intense, and especially with the temperatures that we've had today and the instability in the air, they're going to likely stay intense. And now, Grant, they're moving closer to the Philadelphia area, and we still, believe it or not, on the northern end of Philadelphia County have that tornado warning still in effect.
Let's take it down here and let's look. Here's a live camera here. I believe we're looking off to the west here, looking west. So you've got the museum off in the distance. So that's the direct direction that we're looking at towards that tornado warning. So I'm looking here, Andrew's looking here to see if we see any indication of something in that view that would suggest some area that might be dealing with maybe you were talking about like a squall line,
right?
And maybe a wall cloud or a shelf cloud or something like that.
And just a heads up, because so many people are walking around Center City, and we're the most walkable city. Make sure you postpone any plans to be outside. And if you happen to be somewhere out and you can get home, now would be the time to do it. You have a little bit of a heads up in the city of Philadelphia, Center City, and in the most walkable part of the city, because you don't want to be outside for any of this. Lightning is obviously one of the biggest threats as well. And as Grant was showing us, we had to take it off there because you couldn't see. There's lightning here, but on the south end of this line of storms, there is just so much lightning out here. Obviously, it's a little further south, but as this line of storms moves a little closer to us, areas like Dover, Wilmington, we're going to be looking at some intense lightning along with the heavy rain, gusty winds, and threat of hail.
Yeah, I mean, this whole area right now, and again, this is not in the Philly area, but it's all one severe thunderstorm warning. Lightning is not included in the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning, but that's still very dangerous.
Yes, and you're going to continue to see this move pretty quickly, at least 35 to 40 miles per hour, even as they slow down a little bit from earlier.
Let's track that out here,
just
for the folks down in Wilmington, Newark, arriving around 6:03. Pennville around 6:29, and then jumping across into South Jersey, there, Salem around 6:38.
And we're getting word now about 9,800 people without power now in Chester County.
Okay.
And that number is likely going to increase as these storms continue as well. So heads up for anybody ahead of these storms right now. Tornado warning still in effect for Montgomery County, Bucks County, and Philadelphia. Good news, Grant, is right now we haven't had any confirmed reports yet. I am going to continue. In fact, what I'm going to do now is kind of check as you kind of reset there, and then we'll bring you the very latest on that.
Yeah, so 5:39 right now. We're tracking 2 tornado warnings in the area. We'll do the one to the north first. This was the initial one that we got from the National Weather Service. This tornado warning is in effect for Bucks and Montgomery County. This one goes until 5:45. Let's stop it here. Let me just zoom in and show you some of the towns here within this. Franconia, you're likely dealing with the worst of it right now. As we look at some of the darker reds, that's where we're dealing with a little bit of that rotation going into the center of the storm, back out towards, let's see, Sumneytown there. That's where we're working with. If there is a tornado, that's where it would likely be. When I put on the velocity mode, which the velocity mode is how we're able to track the wind direction within this, and just zooming out gives us an idea of what's going on. And I like to play it backwards and play it forwards, and that will show you the trend. Now, there is still a little bit of rotation in parts of upper Montgomery County. So when I mean rotation, I mean the wind speeds are generally moving like this, all right? So that's where we're seeing a little rotation right there. That could be an indication of where there may be a tornado, but also into southern lower Montgomery County, right into, let's see, Conshohocken, all right? Conshohocken right there near 76. That's really strong wind speeds, and I'm just tracking this here in real time. You're taking the peek behind the curtain, and this is how we track these storms. And our radar is indicating that wind speeds within that are potentially at least 57, 58 miles per hour, if not stronger than that. And then you combine that with the threat for some rotation, which I'm seeing a little bit of rotation right here as well. Again, I like to show you what I'm looking at so you can analyze it for yourself to make the best decision for your family. This is where we've got the tornado warning moving to the east, so it's moving toward West Philly, but then also tracking a little bit farther north up towards the northeast, up towards Cheltenham, Abington. Maybe beginning to see some of that wind pick up a bit, but it's going to go downhill really quickly.
Grant, it is possible that we could see some of this turn into more of a severe thunderstorm warning situation. Again, still dangerous, a little bit better. It does look like they're going to allow, at least right now, the tornado warning to expire at 5:45 for Montgomery County and Bucks County. No word yet on Philadelphia. I will say this, one thing we haven't touched upon in just the recent couple of minutes is the flash flood potential that we continue to see here. There is now a water rescue in Coatesville that just took place because of flash flooding. So it's just another reminder again that even if you're not in the tornado warning, these storms have had not just the potential, but now the history and confirmation of causing flash flooding. We saw that in western portions of Chester County yesterday. Coatesville, there has now been a water rescue. Again, this is not coming at a great time because there's so many people out there for the evening commute on this Tuesday, so don't add to it. And obviously we always say, sounds a little cheesy, but we always say, turn around, don't drown. If there's water in the roadway, you want to make sure that you go ahead and don't try to go through it. And then look at this. This is pretty ominous looking.
Right, it really is. And Andrew, if we had the ability to pan up, what you would see is like that Independence Day type of view, which is that shelf cloud, the leading edge of the gusty winds that are out ahead of the worst part of the storm. But still, that's the indication of a pretty strong storm that's heading right toward the city.
Another indication is that this is one of the most stable cameras I've ever seen at a news station. The fact that you can see it kind of jitter a little bit shows that we're starting to see the winds picking up here. I'm going to go ahead and reset, see what other possible information we have coming in from the National Weather Service, and then it looks like we're going to focus a bit on the city of Philadelphia as well as that storm, Grant, starts to move in.
Right, and I just got a text message from someone in Hatboro saying that it's starting to get pretty nasty in Hatboro, at least looking nasty. And I would say if it looks nasty, it probably will get nasty. And those dark clouds are indicating not just the heavy rainfall, which is the reason for the darkness of the cloud cover, but along with the rain is coming the gusty winds and the potential for damage, whether it be from a tornado, which is why we've got a tornado warning in effect right now for Montgomery and Philadelphia, but also just the outright gusty straight line winds, which are already producing some damage across the region. So if you are just joining us, it is 5:43 right now. We've got this tornado warning in effect for Montgomery and Philadelphia until 5:45. There's a second tornado warning a little farther north. This one includes Bucks County, but also upper Montgomery County. This is the storm that's also moving into Bucks County. All right, so moving into Bucks County, moving out of Montgomery County. So that's tracking to the east. There's still a little bit of a hook there. I'll pause it right here. A little hook. So if I look right there, just to the east of, let's see, Morewood right there, that's where we're seeing the really gusty winds, potentially severe winds. You've got a little hook going in. That would be the rear flank downdraft coming in, that wind wrapping right in. And that's where we're really going to look for the potential for some damage. This whole thunderstorm is rotating. So on a larger scale, you may see a swirling, and it's going to be right in this area just to the south of Morewood, where we could see that potential for a funnel to come down. Again, we haven't got any reports yet. This has all been radar indicated at this point. And Andrew's been checking the reports. We've got some wind damage, but no reports of any tornadoes.
But I got to say, until this is expired, and it says it's going to expire in about a minute from now, they're going to allow this entire tornado warning to expire. But sometimes what happens is they expire, and then we start to see things spin up again. So we're going to stay with you just for a little bit longer here. What you're seeing there, that is a little concerning. I will say this. We just talked about the flash flooding in Atwood, Glen.
Okay.
1.56 inches of rain in less than an hour, and that's why we have some flash flooding there. So again, that's what we continue to see. We're going to see a lot more of these blue warnings, flash flood warnings. I think we're going to see a lot more of these as we head into the next couple of hours.
Yeah, and this is going to be the nature of, I think, every storm that we see going through the rest of the week.
Yeah.
They're moving relatively slow. The tropical moisture in place is dropping really heavy rainfall on the saturated ground. These are some of the same places that had heavy rainfall yesterday.
Right. So you continue, and it's funny to think about that we were in such a deficit of rain so much in the wintertime and then the spring. Heads up right now, we've got this line of storms that continues to move. I believe the tornado warnings now, as of the update.
Tornado warning has been allowed to expire, so no more tornado warning for Philadelphia, Montgomery, or Bucks County. There's a continued severe thunderstorm warning. This severe thunderstorm warning for Bucks, Delaware, Montgomery, Philadelphia all goes until 6:15. We will continue to track this for you as it moves into the Philadelphia area and then farther east into New Jersey. We will be right back after this quick break. We're going to reset and we'll get back to the latest forecast here in just a little bit.
Coming to you from the innovative, immersive Hyundai Virtual Next Weather Sphere. This is Next Weather.
All right, guys, another tornado warning to tell you about here. This one really along the same cell that we were just tracking. It started to lose the rotation, and now it looks like the rotation is starting to wrap back up again. So this is a new tornado warning that was just issued for Bucks, Montgomery, and Northeast Philadelphia until 6:30. I'm just getting the latest information here, and we're tracking this storm is moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So the first thing I want to make sure, I want to give you a good look so you can see where this warning is. That is the warning that I have highlighted, that red polygon with the white outline. That is our tornado warning. So that includes Northampton, Bensalem, and looks like it's right on the border of Florence. This is just north of Cinnaminson, and it includes the Northeast. So if you, I'll zoom out just a little bit. So here's Philly, here's Center City, Philadelphia. And then you've got the Northeast up here. West Philly, a severe thunderstorm for you right now, but the tornado threat is to the north. This is just east of Abington, but still very gusty winds, potentially damaging winds here. And I'll just note this is radar indicated, but we continue to work under the assumption that there could be a tornado on the ground. All right, so let's track this thing out here. Again, this cell, this storm and the potential tornado is moving to the east, right around 30 miles per hour. So we'll get the latest track on this. We'll time it out at 30 miles per hour, moving to the east, and here's some of our ETAs. So anyone included within this area, make sure you seek shelter. You get as far away from this tornado threat as you can. So you put as many walls between you and where this danger is. And that means sometimes it could be a bathroom, it could be a closet underneath a stairway, but you want to put as much stuff between you and what could potentially be something that could hurt you. All right, so timing out here, moving to the east. So the lower Moreland, right around 5:57. It's 5:57 right now, so right on your doorstep. We're looking at Feasterville, 6:01. Lower Southampton, 6:03, Middletown at 6:13, Levittown, 6:20, and then Florence. You're right on the eastern fringe of this tornado warning, but if it holds together, and the storm will hold together, it's just a question of if the rotation within the storm holds together, but Florence there right around 6:20. So this is our new tornado warning in effect for Bucks, Montgomery, and Philadelphia until 6:30 right now. Andrew Kozak, I'm going to bring you in here. You were just taking a peek outside, seeing conditions. We don't have a tornado warning here.
But it's very ominous across Center City. And if you're in the Center City area, basically where we are in our building, the skies are darkening up. There's a lot of cloud to ground lightning right now, and we are likely going to see severe level winds for the city of Philadelphia in Center Philadelphia County. But for the northern edge, the rotation is there, and I'm looking at it right now with winds going toward and away from the radar over 50 to 55 miles per hour. And when you see that up against each other, you can see rotation. There's also hail reports with this run, about an inch diameter hail, about the size of quarters, and of course the flash flooding potential that is there as well.
So I want to point out a couple of things. I took off the labels that automatically show up because there's just so much going on right now that I really want to give you guys at home about what we're working with. Andrew, you were just talking about the ominous skies. So here we are in Center City, Philadelphia. You're looking to the west. That's the storm that's moving in. Again, Andrew came inside. We're tracking this. Look, you do the same thing. Stay inside and make sure that you are in your safe place, and hopefully that you've got your family, everybody together. If maybe you're calling, you got your family someplace else, give them a call. Say, hey, look, you got this storm heading there.
Yeah.
Get to your safe place and give it about 30 or 45 minutes and let the storm move through.
And even though the tornado warning is on the north end of this storm, I think everybody should be treating this the same way across this line, because the way that this line is set up this afternoon into now the early evening is that there could be rotation on any part of this line as it continues to move to the east. But right now, Huntington Valley area, Lower Moreland, all these areas here are certainly going to be under the gun for the worst of the weather. We're talking about gusty winds at the very least over 60 miles per hour, and we've already had power outages. We've already had damage reports.
Right.
Pottstown had a 68 mile per hour wind gust, and now the potential for tornadoes continues. This goes now until 6:30 at this point for Philadelphia, Montgomery, and Bucks County.
Right, and you talk about the wind speeds.
Yeah.
You can start seeing branches come down 45 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Right. Severe thunderstorm warning is issued with wind speeds estimated up around 58 miles per hour or stronger. We've seen our radar estimating wind speeds upwards of 70 miles per hour.
Right.
So that tells you branches, yes, will be coming down, but likely we could see some damage to roofs,
Right.
some limbs, maybe some larger trees coming down.
And the other thing to remember too is that this is not like this is the first day we've had this. We've had several days in the past week of showers, thunderstorms, some severe weather. So even if trees are not down, the soil's loose. We've got branches that are probably, on their last, last limb, so to speak. So a lot of this is going to continue to give us potential damage here. I'm going to go ahead and reset. Grant, I'm going to take a look at this on our other computer to give you an idea as you track it. And then I'm also going to check out any recent reports as this continues to move.
Yeah, it's important to know what this storm has done. So Andrew, I appreciate you doing that. And guys at home, just know, we've got several eyes on this. Our newsroom is keeping updated about what's going on as well. The immediate concern right now is this tornado warning. So this tornado warning that's in effect for Bucks, Montgomery, and Philadelphia, this goes until 6:30. So it's 6 o'clock right now, almost 6:01. And this is the immediate concern, but I'm going to zoom out and I'll show you really anywhere in the Philadelphia area, and that includes South Jersey now, even into upper Burlington County. So see up towards Pemberton, right along 295, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for you. Chesterfield, Bordentown, farther to the southwest, Willingboro. Just beginning to see some of that light rain. Conditions will go downhill very quickly. See that right there? That line right there. You're likely looking to the west. If you're on 295 or you're in that area looking to the west, you see those dark clouds. That's really heavy rain and gusty winds and the damaging winds that's prompting all of these warnings that we have in effect right now. And then here's our tornado warning. Again, this is in really the northeast of Philadelphia and then up into Berks County. It does clip a little bit of Montgomery County. So Montgomery County there, Lower Moreland, technically included in this, and that's where it looks like we have the rotation right now. Let me just put on the velocity real quick and we can try to sample this and see where this potential tornado would be. And it's certainly some gusty winds within this, but let's throw on a little bit of some arrows here and what we're looking at with the rotation. And this is how we're able to really localize it. Where is the tornado threat? How is the storm evolving, and who, most importantly, who has the greatest risk for this potential tornado?
We've had quarter-size hail reports now. We've also had Union Township, some areas of flooding, and Montgomery County right now, all over the county. In several areas now, we're having reports of trees, wires down. So I know we were talking a little earlier, maybe about 25 minutes ago, that there were about 9,800 to 10,000 people in Chester County without power. So if the newsroom is watching, we'll have them also take a look and see how many people in Montgomery County have a loss of power as well. And now that the storm is getting closer as well on the south end to Center City, if we can maybe put up the live camera as well, that shot of Center City, we might be able to see what Center City looks like. Obviously behind us, but I don't think we want to put down the radar live. But if we got that up there, you guys can certainly show us. But in the meantime, it's the north end of this storm that is certainly the most severe at this point with that tornado warning. The south end moving a little closer now to the Philadelphia area, right across Center City. The first couple of drops starting to now actually cross into portions of Philadelphia, closer to like Old City, getting closer to the bridges. And again, during the evening commute, this is not the best thing we want to see out here, so don't add anything to it. Make sure you're in the lowest level of your home. If you're in a tornado warned area, make sure you protect your head. Hail is starting to get a little larger. Earlier it was about 3/4 of an inch, Grant. Now we're seeing 1 inch reports of hail, and those wind damage reports are also getting a little bit more on the substantial side as well.
Well, and you're mentioning all these reports, and these are all reports that are either coming into our newsroom, or we're getting maybe people are sending us messages on social media, or also from the National Weather Service. So a lot of these reports, if we look, and I'll just loop this here, this is over the last 30 minutes, you see how we're starting to get some of those reports coming in. So now I'm looking out over the state. So we're looking at the south right now, looking to the south over Center City. A lot of the severe weather that we're seeing right now is actually to the north. So this just kind of shows you what it looks like on the south side of it. But let's put back on the radar. And
looks like we got a new wind report right within that warning.
Right, the one that was in Philly?
I believe so. I just saw it on there on the screen, yeah. I think it was like right over here. But yeah.
There we go.
So that's the latest, that's one of the later wind reports, I believe, on the north side.
Yeah, so this one coming in for, let's see, just a wind gust report of 53 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And I mean, like we said, I mean, it doesn't have to be a 60, 70, 80 mile per hour wind gust to take down a tree limb that could knock out power, or a tree limb could fall on a car or something like that. So, I mean, all these storms, have a threat to cause some damage.
And now you can see behind us our next weather sphere. This is a live video behind me here of what Center City looks like right now. So the rain is coming down, and thank you, Justin, is kind of showing just what it looks like as we take our look outside the window. And then we've got the roof cam as well. So the rain is coming down very heavily out there, and there's also a lot of cloud to ground lightning. You were mentioning the south side of the storm, Grant. Is it as severe as the north side? But the intense lightning, hundreds and hundreds of strikes, cloud to ground, are really felt on the south side of this storm.
Let's turn on our lightning. I'm going to turn off the indicator there showing us what the warning is for. And you see all along the line, there's lightning, certainly lightning within it. But the most electric storm right now is actually over Maryland, and right over the Chesapeake, actually.
Right.
And that cell is going to move or not cell, it's a line, I guess, move right over Delaware. So just to sample that for you, I mean, Andrew, you're right. I mean, this is a dangerous cell that everyone in Delaware will have to watch out for.
Because we have a tool that you can see how many, but I would say, like, at this point it's hundreds and hundreds. Oh, you're doing it right now as we speak.
Yeah, so, nearly 1,000.
Yeah, 859 strikes.
Yeah, that's just in the last 15 minutes.
Right, and again, we're more concerned about the tornado threat, the wind threat, the flash flooding threat, because we've seen all that. But don't forget, lightning striking, and for people outside, especially if you're in Center City or in an area that's walkable. Unfortunately, we just heard just a few weeks ago there was a severe storm up in New York City, and somebody was struck by lightning in Central Park. So you just got to be very careful out there, regardless of what kind of warning you're on. Obviously, we take the tornado warning threat as the most serious, but all of this is very serious as we continue into now 6:06 up to the current time. It's safe to say that we have the severe storm now moving through Philadelphia County, and as you can see behind us, conditions have deteriorated in Center City with torrential rain coming down right now, just right outside our studio.
So the tornado warning's been canceled.
Yeah.
We now have just ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings, and I say just, but I want to rephrase. We have severe thunderstorm warnings remaining. The tornado warning has been canceled, so no longer a threat for a specific tornado. But I would argue that there's a broader concern of more widespread damage, because pretty much anywhere along here, right along the New Jersey-Pennsylvania line, right along the Delaware River, that's a severe thunderstorm. From Trenton to Wilmington right now, that's a severe thunderstorm, and it's moving to the east, so it's moving into New Jersey. So Mount Holly, Cherry Hill, up to the north into Trenton right now, where Trenton, Hamilton beginning to see some of the severe weather where we have this severe thunderstorm warning, and I'll put back on the label to show you that. Bucks, Burlington, Camden, Mercer County. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:45. So it's 6:08 right now. And then farther to the south and west, we've got an additional severe thunderstorm warning. We'll highlight that for you guys. And those severe thunderstorm warnings continue to move right over Center City, Philadelphia, and they'll continue to move east into New Jersey as we go through the next few hours. So Yuki, no more tornado warning, but an ongoing severe thunderstorm concern. The entire area has a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock. And of course, we will continue to track these storms to keep you guys safe at home until the storms clear out. Yuki, over to you.
And Grant, just as you mentioned that, we heard a severe rumble right over our studios here in Center City. So it is here in Center City. Thank you, gentlemen, both for your expertise. Next weather always keeps you prepared. Go to cbsphiladelphia.com/weather anytime to track the storms, the conditions, and get the updated next weather forecast.
Coming to you from the innovative, immersive Hyundai Virtual Next Weather Sphere. This is Next Weather.
And let's get back to our next weather alert. Listen and look at this. Heavy downpours on Huntington Pike in Bryn Athyn, Montgomery County. If you have plans to go out, please, you might want to reconsider those plans and let this thing move. Move to the east and get out of our region. The storm is pounding our studios right now. Wow, did you see that? Just as Grant left us about 10 minutes ago, I heard a major rumble of thunder over our building, and maybe that bolt of lightning you just saw there came with it. Yeah, it's hitting our region right now. Let's get back to G right now. He's keeping you safe all afternoon. He and meteorologist Andrew Kozak and our entire weather team. G?
Keeping an eye on this, Yuki. This storm is moving east. It's pretty much a long line of what is just one severe thunderstorm pretty much at this point. So if you see dark clouds, it hasn't started raining yet, just know that potential of a severe storm is moving in. Let's open up the doors here and let's look at the city. This is what we're seeing as we look out from our window here. We're looking to the south, but I will say in some places it's even worse than that and you can't see very far at all. And I'll even say, look, don't worry about looking. If you're underneath one of these severe thunderstorm warnings that I'm going to show you right now, just get inside, get to your safe place, allow this storm to move through. It'll move out within the next 30 to 45 minutes. All right, the pink areas, that is our severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until 9 o'clock this evening. The orange, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. We do not have any tornado warnings at this point. We've had a few up to this point, but all of those have either expired or been canceled. Let me take you on a tour of the radar here. Like I said, it's one extended line of basically one severe thunderstorm. The blues that you see back there, those are flash flood warnings. So the rain is coming in. The gusty winds could take down some trees. We've had several reports of downed trees, down power lines, and even some damage to some roofs. This is a very strong storm right now moving to the east. So it's moving out of Bucks County right now into Burlington and Mercer County. The severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:45. It's moving to the east at around 30 miles per hour. So Bordentown, Pemberton, right along 295. Be ready for this severe storm to move in. It'll continue to move to the east. Now, additionally, we've got a very electric severe thunderstorm moving out of Maryland. This is moving into Delaware right now. So this severe thunderstorm warning includes Newcastle and also Kent County. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:45. Notice this tag up here at the top. There's different categories of severe thunderstorms. This one is being tagged as one that has considerable damage potential. Wind speeds around 70 miles per hour. That's a dangerous storm. Guys in Delaware, if you're within that warning, get to your safe place now, hang out for a little bit, let this storm move through. This entire line is moving to the east at roughly 35 miles per hour. So check out some ETAs there. If you're near any of these areas, we'll point out Millville, 740. Just make sure you've got all your affairs in order. Let this storm move through. You're in your safe place, and then we can get back to business and we can enjoy the rest of our evening, hopefully with minimal damage with this. I mentioned the flash flood warnings, several flash flood warnings. We've had some reports of some water emergencies because of the heavy rainfall producing flooding in some urban areas, whether that's roads, neighborhoods, or streams and creeks. Just be very careful if you're in a flood prone area. This water is coming down really quickly and it's not able to drain efficiently. So we're getting some of that water rise in some locations. Here's the forecast radar. We're going to start it off right at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock. All right, the storm moves into South Jersey. I think it begins to weaken by the time we hit 8 o'clock. Those storms will continue to move offshore. Still some lingering showers, but no more severe weather after this line. I think this line is our severe threat for tonight. It will die down, we'll calm down, and we go into tomorrow morning. We'll start off dry, but then more storms are expected once again with the severe potential as we go into tomorrow evening. So another next weather alert for tomorrow, and then a continued unsettled pattern through the weekend into early next week. You're watching CBS News Philadelphia. We'll be right back after this break. Having to interrupt once again for another tornado warning that was just issued for Burlington County. And this is along the same line of storms that has been moving through the entire area. And it's been this northern part of the storm that continues to show a little bit of rotation and then potentially that tornado. So the radar indicated tornado right now. This is for Burlington County. Let's go down a little bit closer. Let's show you where we're working with this potential threat. I'm going to turn off the lightning. There's just so much lightning. It's hard to see. This is Plumstead, the Midwood area, over east into Jackson. Now that's over into Ocean County. So there's a lot going on here. This is our tornado warning. Right here is our Burlington County, Ocean County border. All right. So the storm is moving just east of New Hanover. So it's tracking to the east and it's moving to the east. Mostly, I think most of these storms have been moving around 25 miles per hour. And the latest track on this one looks like they've slowed down just a little bit. So if you're in Pemberton, you've got really strong winds right now, gusting probably up to around 60 to 65 miles per hour, but the threat for the tornado has moved to the east. If you're in Pemberton, I would still just hang tight a little bit. Anywhere really in northern Burlington County, still a severe thunderstorm moving through, but this little appendage right on the leading edge of this line is producing a little bit of rotation, and it's certainly a concern for a tornado. Let's put on the velocity here, and we are finding a little rotation here, so we're seeing that spin. So what the radar is doing is it's scanning the atmosphere, it's picking up all the raindrops, and it's able to calculate how fast the raindrops are being blown by the wind, and then of course in what direction they're being blown as well. And the difference in that wind speed and the wind direction is what gives us that concern for a tornado. So this is just in the Plumstead area into Ocean County, just east of New Hanover. New radar scan right now, still seeing a little bit of that rotation in this cell that's moving out of Burlington County into Ocean County right now. Let's zoom out and let me turn back on the radar and the warnings here with this. So you've got the tornado warning that includes Burlington County. The tornado warning goes until 7:15, so 6:45 right now. Tornado warning will be up for another 30 minutes, but this is mostly into Ocean County. And then farther to, I guess, a little bit farther north up towards Trenton, including Burlington County, you have a larger thunderstorm that is producing that severe thunderstorm warning as well. Let's bring in meteorologist Andrew Kozak. We've been tracking this for you all evening long, and the severe weather extends even farther south right now.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? Let me go ahead and just get my tracker on. Let me just overall let you know also, I was looking at the velocity, Grant, part of that storm just north of Pemberton. There have been winds over 65 miles per hour toward the radar. Not saying that they're tornadic winds, but certainly straight line winds over 65 miles per hour there just north of Pemberton. Not in the tornado warning itself, but you can see some pretty intense winds now starting to kick up there in the Pemberton area.
So guys at home, let me show you what Andrew's talking about here. This is the Pemberton area right now. This is the cell that's or the line of storms that's following in behind it. This is showing the severe thunderstorm warning that includes Burlington County. Let me turn that off and let's track just the wind speed. So the radar, like I mentioned, is tracking the wind speeds and the wind direction here. So right now, radar estimating those wind speeds around 48 miles per hour at times. Andrew, you're saying you've seen wind speeds closer
I saw just near the Pemberton area, just north of Pemberton area. I clocked in at like a 63 over here somewhere. So again, that gives the idea. And this is a little bit closer. Now there's 55. So we're getting a little bit closer now to the way the radar site is. So this is a little bit closer to the ground when we say that. So the further you go out from the beam of radar, obviously the higher up in the atmosphere you're out, the little closer you are, and Pemberton's kind of in that sweet spot. So if we're seeing 50, 55, like I said, I clocked a little over 60, we're probably looking at winds here at least 50 to 55 miles per hour.
So this is in the just south of Upper Freehold.
Yeah.
Into now this is Ocean County, so Plumstead, I hope you guys are in your safe place if you're listening and watching right now, and just to the south of that, Brindletown. Also seeing that potential for some damaging winds with that tornado there.
And again, if there is a tornado that's dropped, we haven't had anything confirmed just yet. This warning was just issued. You know, a lot of times we look at like the hook, or we look where the dry air comes in, but this right here would be rain wrapped at this point, and that would mean that it would be very tough to see. So take your tornado precautions right now. Burlington, Monmouth, Ocean counties, obviously in our area, the Burlington County area, we start getting over toward Monmouth and Ocean County. That is in the New York market, and they're going to have to obviously track that. But for us, this is on the Burlington side of the storm. Very, very strong, severe storm right now. And again, these thunderstorms tonight so far have had confirmed reports of wind damage. We have trees and power lines down places like Chester County, Pennsylvania. This is that same line of storms right now moving. The one good piece of news I can say is that overall, I would think, Grant, you'd agree, is that on the bigger picture, they're starting to weaken a bit. But again, you're going to have cells like this one that are still going to potentially give us a tornado warning. And until this is off the shore at this point, we're going to be staying with you and tracking these as they make their way through the area.
And, you know, even though the general trend is a weakening trend, Andrew, and guys at home, it's a very large area. So you're talking about thousands upon thousands of people, millions of people potentially impacted by this line of severe weather as it moves through. And even though it's not producing the damage and the intensity of the storm that it was into southeastern PA, it's still going to impact the evening. As we go to dinner time, it could still knock out some power, and that's going to obviously interrupt plans this evening.
One of the DMs I got on Instagram, somebody said, well, what is if we have a tornado warning, does that mean we have a tornado? And it really, there's a couple of ways to look at it. Either a tornado warning is issued because a trained spotter or emergency management or somebody has actually seen a tornado on the ground, or if just a civilian takes a photo or a video that indicates that. But the other reason why that we would go ahead and see a tornado warning issued is because it would be radar indicated. We have to take that very seriously, because a lot of times we look at the radar and every little scan that comes in, if we start seeing rotation and it has the potential to produce a tornado, well, the warning goes out because, you know, better safe than sorry. And in this case, we're seeing some of that indicated here and on the velocity, the wind part of the storm.
Well, and what a concern is here with now is sometimes you get too far away from the radar site. The radar doesn't paint a good picture of what's happening. Now as it's getting so close to the radar
too close
site,
to the beam.
it's too, the radar beam is literally undercutting where the storm is, so you're not getting an accurate picture of what's actually happening. So this is that case right here, because the radar site is just to the south. This is the radar site, and let me put this on here for you.
You can kind of see actually where the beams are going out.
Yeah, this is the radar site. Here's our tornado warning, just to the north.
It's funny just to see the opposite problem that we had just about 2 hours ago when we were tracking these in Pennsylvania. So again, if you're in this area, the Plumstead area, even if it is not dropping a tornado right now, the winds are intense. The rainfall is torrential. And again, flash flooding, we've had flash flood warnings, not just today, but even yesterday. And we're going to see more of this, Grant, as we head into the next couple of days as well, with the increased chance of storms. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at any reports that came in, take a look at the wind part, and I'll join you here in just a little bit.
So I want to just piggyback off of what Andrew was saying, because we do have the severe line of storms that's moving through with that tornado warning that's now for eastern Burlington County. But what I've got here, these are our flash flood warnings. And I want to turn on the radar here, and I want to show you here, because pretty much anywhere along this line, you've got the flooding concern. So there's your radar. I'll turn that off. In the wake of it, every single one of these areas that's in blue has the potential for flash flooding or has already experienced flash flooding, and that flooding is ongoing. So to give you an idea, it's very heavy rainfall, and that heavy rainfall is literally pulling down that damaging wind threat, and that's where we're getting the reports of some damage. In fact, let me put on the storm reports that we've received from across the area over the last couple of hours. Look at all of these reports, several reports, and now there's different icons indicating different things. But if we get closer here, and we'll go to the most recent reports that we're getting, you're looking at reports here in parts of Burlington County. This is where several tree limbs down. Estimated wind gusts up around 60 miles per hour. Let's jump back into lower Montgomery County here, where we've got wind gust reports there in excess of 60 miles per hour. Trees down on I-76 near Gulf Mills. And then we'll look back into parts of Delaware County, flooded roadways. So these reports, not just from damage, but also where we're getting reports of the flooding that has occurred from the heavier rainfall. We'll go a little farther to the north and west into parts of upper Montgomery County. We've received several reports of downed trees here, trees and wires down. This is in the Perkiomenville area. So, I mean, just widespread downed trees. And then this is looking farther west into Berks County right now. Berks County is where we saw the storms arrive earlier. That was right around 4 o'clock. And as the storms rolled in, producing damaged trees down on a house at the 300 block of Greenville Road. So ongoing threat here this evening as we track these storms moving out of Pennsylvania into New Jersey and then actually through the Trenton area, moving east out of Burlington County right now. Let me put the radar and the warnings back on the map here. We're getting updates right now. It looks like 6:53 right now. Our tornado warning still in effect for eastern Burlington County. So this tornado warning will remain in effect at least until 7:15, especially for Ocean County. Now, Burlington County, see, there's our county line right here. You're on the western fringe of that polygon. So as the threat for the tornado moves into Ocean County, the National Weather Service will update this warning, and then we'll be able to say, all right, you're in the clear for the tornado, but then following behind it farther to the south and west, you say just east of Pemberton, that's where we've got that ongoing severe thunderstorm warning that I believe the severe thunderstorm warning goes into effect until 7:15 as well.
We have some in Burlington County. We have some areas, including Columbus, now with 47-mile-per-hour wind gusts out there. So it is picking up. Also, just to give you an idea, if you're watching from PA, we have a little over 26,000 homes right now, customers without power in the state of Pennsylvania. We don't have any updates yet for New Jersey, but we're starting to see some of that pour in as well. So as of right now, 26,000 customers without power in Pennsylvania due to the storms. That goes across all the counties. And then again, we're going to keep our eye on New Jersey as well. We still have the storms on the bottom end of this as well. We know the Kent County storm has been now allowed to expire, I believe. But we still have some very intense winds on the bottom end of that storm. And I believe, Grant, I know we turned the lightning off on this, but I believe we still have a lot of intense.
Yeah, let me pause. That's a good point, because obviously the lightning is dangerous, just as dangerous as the winds.
And by the way, the reason why he took that off the map, because there's so much of it, you couldn't even see the radar behind it, but that would be the reason why. But we've had, I believe it was about an hour and a half ago, these storms produced just in the area down here, something like 859 cloud and ground lightning strikes.
Storms moving in from Maryland that are now moving into Delaware, producing nearly 900 lightning strikes in just 15 minutes.
Wow.
Right? So, I mean, a very electric storm. But the good news is, I guess if we can say that, is that a lot of these storms are beginning to weaken. But they were way up here, right?
Yeah.
So very intense, 70-mile-per-hour potential severe thunderstorms with the threat for tornadoes. Wind speeds down to around 60 miles per hour right now. Still damaging, still a concern.
Yeah, and we're already sending crews up. Chester County in the Berwyn area, Schuylkill Township, we had numerous trees and wires down. Again, I don't want to forget to keep reminding everybody about the flash flooding threat out there. We've had a couple of water rescues tonight across portions of Montgomery County and Chester County and Berks County as well. And we may see some more of that. Flash flooding is certainly an issue here. We don't have any new flash flood warnings for New Jersey just yet, but as these storms continue to pound areas like Burlington, Monmouth, and Ocean counties, we might see some of that. Remember, we always say, turn around, don't drown, because even just a few inches of water on a covered roadway can carry your car away.
And a water rescue and a water emergency doesn't necessarily mean that somebody drove into a roadway. These flash floods, they happen so quickly. I mean, if you had the storm move through your area, you know the rain comes down so fast. And then that water funnels into a low-lying area, and that water can rise very quickly and can kind of catch you a little off guard, especially if you're sitting in traffic. So you can't go anywhere if that water rises underneath you.
And it happens in a smaller effect here, but obviously if you've been paying attention to the national news, what happened down in Texas, it's the same thing. Even just a few inches of water can lead to a river or a basin rising numerous feet, and with something that we see out there. And it's something that we saw yesterday in Chester County, seeing it today, Montgomery County, Berks County, and again, we're likely to see a little bit more of that tonight. And again, looking ahead into the forecast for really the foreseeable future, we've got a chance of storms each day. The other thing with that, Grant, quickly before I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a look at any of the updated storm reports, is that let's say you got trees tonight or areas tonight that are that are getting a little loose but not falling down completely, well, then you've got storms that are coming in tomorrow, and that may kind of finish the job, so to speak. So that's why it's so important to remember that take these warnings seriously, because trees, power lines, things like that, even winds 40, 45 miles per hour may, like I said, finish a job that storms yesterday didn't completely finish.
Well, and now the ground is going to be even more saturated, right? So we're getting those 1 to 2 inches of rain coming down in a short period of time. So the ground is saturated. You've got the ongoing rain in the wake of the initial severe threat. So as we go into what will be a threat for some severe storms tomorrow evening, the ground's going to remain saturated, and like Andrew said, any of the additional storms that we'll see tomorrow, maybe even again on Thursday, Friday, we could see just a strong storm, maybe not a severe storm, potentially cause some damage. So we need to stay weather aware as we go through the rest of the week. But if you are tuning in now, we've interrupted the regularly scheduled program because we've got a tornado warning in effect for Burlington County right now. Tornado warning is going to go until at least 7:15 as the storm moves from Burlington County into Ocean County right now. It is now 6:58. Tornado warning goes for about another 17 minutes right now. So we'll continue to track that, and anywhere along this line of storms, whether there's a warning on it or not, it's producing very heavy rainfall. So there is another stronger cell that we'll have to keep an eye on. This one's a little concerning here. This is the one in for Cumberland, Gloucester, and Salem County. Severe thunderstorm warning on this one until 7:30, but I do want to check right now. I want to look at the velocity here, because when you see these cells start to ramp up in lightning, right? When you see the lightning intensity begin to pick up, that's an indication that the storm is strengthening. And with the behavior of these storms, that might be an indication that it's starting to show some rotation as well. And just looking at this cell here, there is a little bit of rotation in this. So this is down in Salem County and just east of Salem, but there's a little bit of rotation in that cell. So we'll have to monitor that. Heading east, this is heading towards Ballards Mill, and east over towards Pittsgrove and Newfield. So these are all areas, as that cell continues to move to the east. Even if it's not raining right now, you want to make sure you are ready to get to your safe place if we in fact have to do that because of this severe threat.
Burlington is now canceled.
Okay, so Burlington County tornado warning just canceled, so that should drop off the map here. They've advanced that, still an ongoing tornado warning for Ocean County right now. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning that's ongoing for Cumberland, Gloucester, and Salem County. The rest of the area remains in a severe thunderstorm watch. This severe thunderstorm watch will go until 9 o'clock. So, Andrew, come in. We'll wrap things up here because now the tornado warning's out of here. We're going to get back to program.
Yeah, that's the good news. Before we do that, again, that says the tornado warning issued for Burlington County that literally seconds ago has now been allowed to be canceled. We've been talking about the flash flooding, right? I just want to give everybody an update here on 611. That's 95 South, right by the sports complex here in Philadelphia. Ramps closed. We've got roads flooded now. And that's going to be by the sports complex. That's going to be 611 southbound over there in the South Philly. So again, just another reason for us to always take these thunderstorm warnings seriously. Not just the tornado warnings, but the severe thunderstorm warnings and the flash flood warnings. So sports complex again by 611 southbound there on 95. That's where we have some flooding now across the city of Philadelphia. So you just got to be very careful out there. If you don't need to be outside tonight, stay in, because the roads that are flooded, the ramps that are closed, it's going to be a little bit of time before everything kind of recedes and drains off.
It'll take a while. The flood watch is in effect until midnight.
That's right.
So that just gives you an indication of how long it may take for some of this flooding that we're seeing to slowly clear out, and then we can face another day tomorrow with more storms tomorrow. So we got to kind of stay just on alert even after the watch expires.
And we're going to keep an eye. Tomorrow, those does look like the storms may start just a little bit later as well. But either way, we're going to remain vigilant the next couple of days.
Okay, so I think we're gonna wrap things up now. If you head over to our website and cbsphiladelphia.com, our stream has a continuous loop. of these storms. So you can track these storms. We will continue to track it here at CBS Philadelphia. We're watching this one severe thunderstorm warning also for Cumberland County. A little concern there with that increase in lightning that we're finding. This warning goes until 7:30. So if you're within that warning area, get to your safe place, let this storm clear out. And if we get any more tornado warnings, Andrew and I will jump back on and we'll make sure you know what's going on. So I'm meteorologist Grant Gilmore for Andrew Kozak. Guys, stay safe and we'll get through this evening and get these storms out of here.